Sometimes, dealing with television celebrities can be tough. However, the racers on Discovery Channel's Street Outlaws aren't your typical TV celebrities. When Kamikaze Chris teamed up with Graham Jones of FastTimes Motorworks to build a new engine for the infamous El Camino, all Chris said to Graham was it has to make a bunch of power. Kamikaze Chris left Jones to pick what he wanted in terms of engine size, parts, and everything else that went inside the new 566 CID big block Chevy. My name is Greg Jones, and I'm the managing editor of Engine Builder magazine. And welcome to Engine of the Week.
This video is sponsored by Cometic Gasket, sealed by Cometic.
Graham first met Kamikaze Chris at the PRI show in Indianapolis 3 years ago through a mutual friend. Chris had been unhappy with his previous engine shop and decided to give FastTimes Motorworks a chance. Graham and Chris have now been working together for 2 seasons of Street Outlaws, and Graham says he's enjoyed being part of the show.
It's definitely been an experience being involved with the show, because it's something that a lot of people just don't get to see in terms of what happens behind the scenes and behind the cameras. Everybody obviously sees what happens on TV, but there's a lot of backstory to all that a lot of people don't get. FastTimes
Motorworks Inc., also known as FastTimes Racing Engines, was founded in 1986 and is located in Rolling Meadows, Illinois. FastTimes is a full machine shop focused on mostly domestic performance and racing engines. But Graham says that he'll take on the occasional marine or import engine as well. Graham and FastTimes are pretty involved with Kamikaze Chris's racing program in terms of not only the engine, but helping at the track or out on the street to make sure the El Camino is going as fast as possible. Now, helping Chris race to the top spot on the list is this 566 CID big block Chevy. The engine was actually at the 2017 PRI show, but has been completely redone by Jones and FastTimes Motorworks for this season. Here's Graham to tell you more.
So the only thing that's the same from what you saw at PRI is the head castings and the block and the oil pan. Everything else is different, though. We had to work with a lot of the, some of the stuff that he was running last season, but everything's been upgraded inside. It's a different size engine now. We upgraded the valve train, upgraded a lot of stuff, along with all the components required to switch it from nitrous to a turbo engine.
The previous engine that was in the El Camino was a good engine and ran really well for being primarily shelf components, according to Jones. FastTimes started the new build by tearing apart the old engine and found that the block and heads had moved a bit due to being run. So the engine got a full complement of everything as far as machine work goes. The only thing that wasn't done was surfacing because the deck height was already set. The Chevy got line honed, re-honed, and everything on the block got a full prep again. The crank got balanced and rods got fitted. The custom pistons also got a little bit of hand profiling just to clean them up. The cylinder heads were surfaced and FastTimes did a valve job. The shop also touched up the hone on the guides, and then a full prep went into it before it got washed and ready for assembly.
So it's based off of a Brodix block, tall deck aluminum with the hip process done to it. It's got a Lanati Signature Series crank, Bill Miller forged aluminum rods and pistons, comp 55 millimeter billet cam. My profile was picked out and they ground it for us. Brodix headhunter cylinder heads, full Manley valve train, valve springs, locks, retainers, all their ancillary parts, Jessel rockers, Crower lifters, Trend performance push rods, Moroso covers, and oil pan, and plasma and billet intake.
Now that FastTimes has the new big block Chevy put together, it's going back to Chris to put in the El Camino. Now, Jones anticipates this new engine should make somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,400 horsepower.
We're probably going to be about 1,000 up over what we had before. It's definitely going to be a different animal in every regard compared to what was on there before.
The El Camino is going to be faster than ever out on the streets this year, and that's thanks to quality engine work. Make sure you tune in to see this new engine run. Well, that does it for this episode of Engine of the Week. If you have an engine you'd like to see featured, send me an email at gjones@babcocks.com. See you all next time.